Dick Gregory, MLK, Vietnam and Bears, oh, my. Me, oh my, me lie. Me no lie. Oh, that's a nice homepage screen there, ragazza. Orange leaves everywhere. Bring on the fall. Famous last words, right? Adam. Speaking of which, Black Adam, with The Rock. I was gonna skip it as more Avenger-esque wannabe action-addicted cinema, but the trailer does look pretty good. Hee hee. And it makes me wonder if they're taking that genesition. Don't know the adjective, tack, that Adam was black. Possibly following general anthropological scholarship that traces the origin of humankind to Africa, even though in recent decades that universally accepted theory has had some competition. Oh, I thought there was evidence of early fossils being found now in places like Mesopotamia or even Europe. But article I just looked at seems to limit those alternate locations to other spots within Africa, like East Africa, to South Africa, then to West or North Africa. Black power. Manically speaking of which, I had a response to Kel's FBI story, just haven't had time, or breath, to post it yet. So, yeah, The Rock, aka Dwayne Johnson, or D-Wayne, as I might just start calling him, or maybe even a hybrid sobriquet for me and Gramps, Dwayne Johnson. He's an uber-powerful black superhero, Black Adam. And like the preview blurb quotes him, he is not peaceful. I'm thinking there may be some heavy political subtextual allegory info being transmitted with this one. Keep your eyes peeled, and your ears on, as they say. Or is it, those with eyes to see, and ears to hear? Maybe it's an ushering in of a new era of Mansonian helter-skelter warfare. George Floyd uprising redux. And American Intifada. We were the first. We'll be the last. But black, with a fist. Just kidding, of course. But maybe, you never know. As Dick Gregory opined in 2016 sitting across from radio talk show host Charlemagne the God, on the Breakfast Club radio show. But if you just stop for a minute. God made Adam. Now think about that. Nothing in the history of the universe came from a man. Except Adam. Kind of a Yoda And then Adam said, God, I am lonely. And God said, how can you be lonely when I didn't make nobody but you? Oh, well, maybe another Gregory quote is pertinent. And so when you stop and you think about, what they tellin' us. Nobody has ever been through what we've been through. In the history of the planet. And the only reason Hitler didn't win. He didn't have the technology we have now. How you gonna compare me to a Jew when a Jew was freed, in Egypt? Jewish person. 9,000 years ago. We just been freed 300. Go back 300 years, unintelligible, from the Jew. They acted just like us. sitting here gesturing to Charlemagne, with a white piece of paper in your hand. This is a game they play, okay? But it messes up the whole system. Are we clear now? He was also instructive on the Super Bowl, waxing confusingly conspiratorial about Cam Newton, who can run faster than God, being hamstringed, so to speak, by the powers that be. Something about having to change his cleats 8 times because of something in the ground causing him to fall, etc. And then at the end, on the 1-inch line, instead of giving the ball to the brother there, will outrun God, they throw it to a white boy and he drops it. Y'all don't know what you're looking at. Later, Gregory had Charlemagne read a back-in-the-day headline from the Chicago Tribune, the 3rd most powerful paper in the country. Charlemagne reads, it says, FBI memo, used mob against Gregory. Hoover. Gregory exclaims, huh? Sent word. The head of the FBI. And I got it before he did. Charlemagne, to neutralize comedian Dick Gregory. Gregory, that mean, kill me. Charlemagne, yes sir. At another point he hands the gal on the show a document and asks her to read it. That's a government document. Gregory notes. It says, she says, after action report, civil disorder operation. Lantern Spike. Gregory, Lantern Spike. That's the military, the government sent Inch. From Virginia, to kill King. And what you know, as spelled out by the shooter's attorney and author William Pepper. Convincingly on a Pacifica radio broadcast in April 2017. Lone shooter James Earl Ray, no relation to Jones, who, by the way, recently signed over his rights to be the voice of Darth Vader to an AI voice, thus allowing it, AI, instead to utter all of Darth's future breathy lines that can then be misremembered by billions of people in true Mandela effect fashion, turns out to be a patsy, much like his similarly fully named fellow assassin, L.H. Oswald, which revelation has come out over 5 decades as documented in Pepper's 3 books on the topic. The last of which, The Plot to Kill King, in 2016, unveils the name of the real shooter, Frank Strausser, who did not succeed in killing King, as well as outing the real killer, Dixie Mafia family doctor, Breen Bland, who suffocated Martin with a pillow in the hospital. Such revelations come out of the mouths of witnesses like the son of the surgical nurse who witnessed Bland tell everyone to leave the hospital room and let this N-word die, how several spit on MLK's body, etc. As well as how the government paid off the Jefferson City prison's warden to allow Ray to escape. How Memphis mob boss Adkins and his son Ron delivered the money, and how Ron was the witness to finally expose that info to them. Also mentioned in broadcast was how it had been attorney/author Pepper, who had met Martin back in 1967. That had let Martin read through his archive of material for Pepper's book on Vietnam, and how after seeing the unpublished atrocities, he openly wept. Everyone knows about MLK's well-publicized efforts in the civil rights struggle. Not many, but some, know about the FBI's massive surveillance of him and many other targets during the unknown or barely recalled COINTELPRO program, and a few have heard rumors of his alleged infidelity to his wife and government's attempts to use it, etc. as blackmail to silence him. Still, perhaps even fewer know or recall that what really pushed MLK into the category of dangerous men who must be stopped was his evolution to not only focus on civil rights for Black Americans, but his efforts to internationalize that struggle, and to also focus on economic issues such as the impoverished among Americans, of any race. And finally, the real catalyst that hastened his stoppage was his coming round to a solidly anti-war stance with regards to Vietnam. Though history, has chosen his 1963 "I Have a Dream" speech as the defining expression of his work, it was his 1968 Mountaintop speech that showed his evolution from an inspirational speaker providing public support to the movement to one of organizer, issuing calls to action. But it was another speech, his April 4, 1967 speech at Riverside Church in NYC, delivered exactly 1 year to the day before his assassination, a speech entitled Beyond Vietnam, A Time to Break Silence, a speech wholly skipped over in, completely absent from, the Wikipedia list of his main speeches, that featured his shift in focus to set his sights on the ongoing war in Vietnam, and which shift truly made his voice to quash. As reported in the book, one John Downey, allegedly head of the 902nd Military Intelligence Group in Vietnam at the time, though his enormous Wikipedia page outlining a quite extensive and illustrative career, including being a POW, longest held, in Korea, is mysteriously silent for those interim years. No mention of Vietnam at all, frequently met with LBJ to brief him and would take opportunity to express to him his total cluelessness about why the use was even there, and while they continued to lose blood and treasure, etc. He'd never get answers, until one day LBJ relented and admitted, "John, I can't get out of Vietnam. My friends are making too much money." Bada bing. Nailed it. So, yeah, all that. And a bag of chips.